Hello and welcome to another episode of the Woolly Mastadon Creates podcast, episode 39. My name is Tori or Victoria, the mastermind behind the crazy, and thank you for joining me today. Before we jump into the episode today, I just wanted to share a few places you can find me on the internet. So you can find me, I'm most active on Instagram as Tori Schaffner, so definitely check that out. You can find me on Facebook, but I'm just not as active there. Of course, check out the blog, woolymastadon.wordpress.com. You can find show notes there. YouTube, of course, where you're hopefully watching this video. And let's see, Ravelry. We cannot forget Ravelry. I am on Ravelry as lilwestie, L-I-L-Westie. With that, I think that's all the admin I've got, so let's just move on into the episode. Today is a nice Saturday. I believe it's the 16th. It is the 16th. Cloudy and rainy, if it really matters too much. It was snowing this morning and now it's just kind of switched over to rain-ish. So yeah, nothing fancy here. Kind of a gloomy day, but a perfect day to get a lot of stuff done. I spent the morning doing a whole bunch of chores, so our apartment is pretty much clean right now, and yeah, perfect time to podcast when everything else is done. So let's see. I don't have a whole lot to share this time, because I was working on one project, and you will see what I was mostly working on in a moment here. But yeah, not a whole lot to show, so let's just jump right into it. First one is my Featherweight cardigan by Fettig. This is a fingering weight cardigan. It's knit on US 3.25mm needles, and out of the colorway Knit Picks Stroll hand paint in the colorway Eucalyptus. I don't have rain anymore. Partially because you may notice there are no needles attached. This puppy is done. I need to block it because I am unsure if I picked up stitches properly for the collar, the shawl collar basically. So I need to block the sweater and see if it's going to sort itself out. And if it doesn't, I will have to reknit that. But otherwise, she is done. I love the fit. I'm really hoping the shawl collar blocks out properly because then I don't have to keep knitting on this, and it's done. It's a beautiful, like, minty green sage color, and it's super muted and super pretty, so I cannot wait to have this done because I will be wearing this all the time to work. The only mod I did is a suggested option as a modification, and on the shawl collar I knit ribbing instead of just stockinette stitch so it wouldn't roll. And I also knit about 6 inches instead of 3.5. So otherwise I knit this longer. Surprise, surprise, I didn't buy any more yarn for this. Which is kind of exciting because then if I want to order from Knit Picks at some point, I don't have to buy more yarn. Because I have this much left, but fear not, I was not playing Yarn Chicken, because this is what I have left from the skeins I was using. I have a full skein left, which is actually rather exciting, because I wouldn't mind a pair of socks out of these. Like a cute patterned pair of socks, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, or I could go in another shawl or something, but yeah, I have a full skein left. So even if I have to rip out the shawl collar, reknit it, and maybe add some yarn, I don't think I'll even have to go into that last skein. So I always do, I either underestimate and have to play Yarn Chicken, or I overestimate and I'm convinced I'm still going to have to play Yarn Chicken. And in this case I overestimated and didn't have to play Yarn Chicken, so it all worked out. But yeah, this is the Featherweight cardigan by Fettig. I need to block it. I'm hoping to block it this weekend, in which case then hopefully I'll have some finished object photos for our next podcast. But she is done. I finished it last night at like 10 o'clock. So she's done. I'm so excited. I didn't include her as a finished object just yet because, you know, I gotta block it and see if it's actually done or if I need to reknit the shawl collar. So we will see. But for now, mostly done. I think I just shook the camera there. Sorry. Moving on to works in progress. Otherwise, that's mostly what I was working on because I wanted to get it done, to see if I needed to buy more yarn. Because then at least I would know where I stand, and then I could, if I had the time and the money available, I would order it right away, but obviously I don't need to do that, so that's good. So that was the main reason I wanted to finish that right away. But anyway, I don't think, moving on to works in progress, I really haven't put any work onto anything else. Like, I think I maybe put a row on my socks, so it's not even like honorable mentions. Like, I don't think this even looks any different than it did now that I open up the bag. So yeah, I think I literally just worked on that. And I put a few rows on my granny stripe blanket. My fingering weight granny stripe blanket. So I did do a little bit of that. I put like a row on my socks, but otherwise I was pretty much only working on that sweater because I wanted to finish it and dreaming of new sweaters to cast on because naturally that's what you do. So yeah, I put a few rows on my beautiful granny stripe blanket. I'm not going to show it here again because it's really hard to see, although I did add a stitch marker finally so that I can kind of gauge how far I go. So if I crochet on that a little bit this weekend, we'll at least be able to see my progress. And I'm just looking, my granny square blanket, I haven't done anything for either. I was just really focused on finishing knitting that sweater, and to be honest, I finished knitting a sleeve. Did I finish knitting both sleeves? No, I finished knitting a sleeve and the entire shawl collar. So that's a lot of knitting. But yeah, it's going to be a really short episode and pretty disjointed. Sorry about that. Because yeah, that's pretty much all I've got going. Those are my works in progress. I don't really have anything in the works right now. I want to cast on another sweater and I have a few ideas. Some which I can't really do right now because I'd have to buy yarn. One of them I can do because I should be able to do it with the yarn I have, so that's probably what I'm going to cast on. But yeah, I'm kind of debating which sweater I want to knit, so that's kind of where we're at. No spinning, no sewing. Upcoming cast-ons, I've already told you I would love to cast on another sweater, so that's hopefully what we're going to do. Stash enhancements. I have some. I'm reading off my notes up to the side, but I have some. And excuse all the random stuff in this basket. Let's just, you know, take everything out of here. Because I have a few small stash enhancements. For my birthday, I had gotten some money and I had not spent it. Because I was kind of waiting until after the holidays to order if something was going to be shipped with USPS. And I ordered 2 mini skein sets to finally add into my blanket. The first one is from Ruby and Rose's yarn. This is her Cathedral mini skein set on her Rosebud base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. And yeah, these are super adorable. Lots and lots of yarn here. I don't remember how much yarn is just in the final thing, but yeah, it's just an explosion of color. You can kind of see the different colors in this set. But these are going to get added into my blanket. I may break them up a little bit. I may do full stripes. My phone is going off. Sorry guys. But this is the first set I got. This was from Ruby and Rose's yarn. I think it's really pretty. I believe it's 10 different colors. The second set I got is from Yarn Cafe Creations. And it's another mini set. This is the Christmas Candy Collection Mini Skein Set 2. And it's 85% merino, 14% nylon. And these are really adorable colors. Like these are like, between these two, some of these skeins are just like me in a nutshell. But these are super bright, super fun. I know there's more Christmas themed, so like the names are Christmas themed. Sorry for the crinkling, I'm trying to get to the names. But for example, Sugar Cookie Kisses, Christmas Tree Peeps, Black Licorice All Sorts, Reindeer Corn, and Old Fashioned Hard Candy. Old Fashioned Hard Candy is this one, it makes me happy. So they are Christmas themed, but to be honest, I feel like these are just my colors. Like individually, you wouldn't put them as Christmas colors per se. So I felt really comfortable putting these, going to put these in the blanket. So I did actually get some yarn, which is super exciting. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in the bottom here that I need to take out, and there actually is. But yeah, so I do have stash enhancements. I do hope to order some yarn at some point, but that's down the line a little bit more from Knit Picks. I have to figure out what I'm doing there. So for now, these are my stash enhancements. Moving on to non-knit loves, I have something slightly different to share this time. A lot of people are super into cross stitch. I did cross stitch before I knew knitting and crochet. So I did cross stitch, embroidery, and beading, and all kinds of stuff probably over 10 years ago when I didn't know how to crochet. So I did everything else, and I picked up cross stitch again because I have a lot of materials for cross stitch. I used to be super into it, and I just wanted something else to do every once in a while. So I picked up a cross stitch. Well, I didn't pick it up. I had it in my stash. And it's just a really cheap, I think it was like from the dollar store, hedgehog cross stitch. And just preface this with, I literally haven't done any cross stitching for years, probably 10 years. And so when I picked this up, I decided I might as well try. And you'll notice I'm only using one strand of thread, so it's going to be super light, which probably wasn't the best choice. But you'll also see that I've got a little hedgehog on here. This, I don't know if it'll focus on this hedgehog. This hedgehog is a needle minder. So it's actually two pieces. The back has a little magnet, and then the front is on there, and then your needle attaches, your needle sticks there. And I've had this in this bag. It hasn't gone anywhere. The magnet is really good. And the hedgehog is a little adorable enamel rose gold hedgehog. It's so cute. So I actually picked that up. And that was part of the reason why I was pulling these out. I got this from Jessica Long Embroidery on Etsy. Let's see. She's Jessica Long Embroidery on Instagram if you're interested. But yeah, I got this from her shop. She had the cutest little hedgehog stitch minder. And I mean, there are so many different kinds that you can get on Etsy. And I just thought the hedgehog was cute. Never no mind that the final product that I'm stitching right now is a hedgehog. But yeah, I thought the hedgehog needle minder was so cute because I can use it for embroidery and everything else. And then the magnet's super strong. So super happy about that. But that was my other acquisition, and this is another rabbit hole I've gone down a little bit. I haven't done a whole lot. It doesn't take long to do this. I just haven't done a whole lot on here yet. So I should get into this because I remember when I was younger I could do like something this size in an afternoon. So I don't know. I just haven't been as on top of it as I once was, but that's okay because I was knitting an awful lot. So that has been another rabbit hole I've been going down. Other than that, non-knit loves, let me see, anything weird? Oh, well, you know, baskets, of course, from Target. But otherwise, update on the Bread Saga. My sourdough starter is not ready yet. I have to work on that a little bit more. But I did get an enamel cast iron Dutch oven, finally. I did get that. And so I did bake some bread last weekend, and it came out quite well. I just did a quick rise, like Italian loaf or something like that. And so it was more like a quicker style bread because it wasn't a 12 to 18 hour rise. I don't even have words anymore today. My words are gone. But so I just did a shorter period rise. I think it was maybe 3 hours overall. And it came out really well. I ended up using it for sandwiches for lunches, and it was a really pretty crusty loaf. So I'll put a picture here if I remember to put it in. But yeah, so that's been really fun to experiment with. I want to do another loaf this weekend if I'm up to it. We'll see. But yeah, otherwise that was a really fun thing that I'm kind of working on. Slowly just feeding my sourdough starter named Herman. And hopefully I'll have sourdough starter to actually use soon. I think it's almost there. I just kind of have to watch it and maybe change when I feed it so that I can see it actually working throughout the day. But other than that, yeah, quick episode today. Into life lately, not much is going on. Lots of work. What's new? Keeping busy. It's been snowing here, so I'd say we're just kind of holding up a little bit more. Not really going into town or anything, just kind of staying in. But yeah, other than that, it's just been super chill. I mean, it's the new year, so, you know, everybody is no longer off every other day, so it's kind of like getting back into that daily grind and getting used to not having excess days off anymore. But I think it's been going pretty well. But yeah, other than that, I don't have much to say this episode. So it's going to be really short. So I might as well just cut it off here because now I'm just rambling for no reason. So anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, subscribe, share my channel with others so we can join this family on the interwebs, and comment below. If you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram as Instagram as Tori Schaffner. You can find me on Facebook as Victoria Schaffner, also as Woolly Mastadon. Like I said, I'm not as active there. Ravelry, lilwestie. You can find the show notes on the blog, woolymastodon.wordpress.com. And then, of course, you can find me on YouTube as Victoria Schaffner. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks ahead, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye!